everyone, my name is Matilda and I come from beautiful Greece, the country with the bright sun, the blue sky and the blue sea. I decided to start this cooking journey in English because I thought this way I would be able to share my recipes with many more of you, the ones that would like to follow or not, and explore a little bit the Greek cuisine and some others. I come from a multicultural family in a sense, that is, my parents were born and raised in Egypt, and I had a grandmother from Rome, Italy, from whom I take my name, and a grandmother from Izmir, Turkey. So these influences I'll try and show in the videos to follow. All the recipes are recipes of my family that we did through the years, all made with love. And I hope you will enjoy this journey as much as I do, because I'm really enthusiastic about it. So today I'm going to start with the world famous dessert, baklava. It's made out of phyllo dough. It has a filling of pistachios and walnuts and a beautiful sweet syrup on top. So with no more delay, let's start cooking, always with love. For baklava, I'm going to use a packet of extra thin phyllo crust, which is 500 grams and it has 12 to 13 pieces inside. I'm going to use 100 grams of walnuts, 200 grams of raw pistachios, 100 grams of roasted salted pistachios, and I use them for the contrast that they make with the sweetness of the dessert, which is excellent, trust me. 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground clove, a few cloves for the decoration at the end, 2 tablespoons of brown crushed sugar, which I mix with the rest of my ingredients, and 350 grams of sheep goat butter, which has an excellent aroma and a unique taste. But if it's difficult for you to find it, it's okay, you can use regular good quality butter. Then for my syrup, I'm going to use 3 cups of sugar, 2 cups of water, some peel and half the juice of a lemon, 1 cinnamon stick, and 8 to 10 pieces of clove. First of all, I start with the syrup. I put my heat on high. I pour all the ingredients in a pot, my sugar, my water, the cinnamon stick and the cloves, and the peel of a lemon. And I leave the juice of a lemon for later on. And at this point, I use 1 tablespoon of honey because of the great taste that it has and the brownish color that it gives to my syrup. But this is completely optional, that's why I did not include it in the ingredients. You may use it or not, it's up to you. We give it a little stir until the sugar is a little bit dissolved, it doesn't have to be completely, and let it boil for 3 to 4 minutes. When it's boiled, at this point we add the juice of half a lemon and let it boil for another 1 to 2 minutes before it's ready, and we put it aside and let it cool. I've chopped all my nuts and I'm putting in the dry ingredients, the cinnamon, the clove and the sugar, and I'm mixing well until they become all one for my filling to be ready. In the meantime, I have covered my phyllo crust with a damp cloth to prevent it from drying before I start using it. I'm going to butter my pan. I'm using a 40 centimeter round pan, and I'm gonna butter the bottom, the edges, the corners, everything really well, because this is where my first phyllo crust is going to sit on. I'll put 1 phyllo crust and tuck the corners in a little bit, and I see that on one end it's not covered completely because I have a round pan, so I'm taking a little piece and cover the bottom. And it's okay if it doesn't look good because it's not gonna show. And I sprinkle some butter with my brush all over the phyllo crust, and this is where my second phyllo is going to go on. I use a little different angle this time so that I'll cover my edges as much as I can. And again, if I have a little bit that's not covered, I take the extra pieces from the sides and put it inside. Again, sprinkling some butter on top of the phyllo and continuing the same process until I have put 5 pieces on the bottom of my baklava. On the 5th phyllo, I'm ready to start putting my filling in. I make sure that it goes all over the place, in the corners and everywhere, because I really like my baklava to be filled up with nuts. And I put a phyllo crust on top of it. Before I start with my second layer. I put the sides a little bit in to make sure that my nuts are going to be covered and not be spilled all over the place. But I'm leaving some parts out as well because I'm going to need them for the final covering. I'm sprinkling again some butter on the phyllo, making sure that it has quite a bit inside the corners and everywhere. And I'm putting my second layer of pistachios again all over the place. Same process, another phyllo crust, sprinkle it with butter and putting an extra layer of pistachios. This is my final 4th layer of nuts. And I'm going to be covering the edges with everything that's remaining outside of my tray. I sprinkle some butter on the corners as well. And I'm ready to start putting my final top part of my baklava. Same way as we did the bottom. We're going to put 1 phyllo crust. Tuck it all around in and sprinkle it with butter. We put a lot of butter before we put the second phyllo crust and tuck the corners in, because this is what's gonna make it really crunchy and fluffy as well. Second phyllo crust has gone in, butter, and as you notice I use different angles every time. This way I'm gonna make sure that all my areas are going to be covered with phyllo. Five phyllo crusts are going to be also on the top, and when I have my final phyllo, I'm cutting the edges around my pan. It doesn't matter if you cut them straight or not straight, because you're gonna tuck them in any case. I take the extra out and use my fingers to tuck the corners in a little bit. It's gonna look really nice at the end. Trust me about that. I use my brush to put some butter on the corners. This way they get really down and they look good too. If you make it, you'll see it. And I sprinkle some butter on the top as well. This recipe has a lot of butter, but this is what gives it a wonderful taste. I take an extra sharp knife and I start slicing my baklava. You don't have to go all the way down, but I make parallel lines all the way across my pan. And then you can cut it according to the shapes that you want to. I cut them a little bit diagonal, but it's totally up to you. It's a matter of aesthetic, as you like it. And at this point, I'm going to stick a piece of clove in every piece of baklava. It holds it together and it gives it an excellent aroma. Of course, when you serve it, you don't eat that piece, you know that. But I think it looks good. It smells really nice. This is how I've learned it from my family, my mother and my grandmother, and this is the way I keep on doing it. And now our baklava is ready after we pour the remaining of the butter on top. It will go in a preheated oven at 150 degrees and it will cook for an hour and a half. After an hour and a half, our baklava is ready. Look what a beautiful color it has. We let it stay for a few minutes to cool down a little bit. I tried there, it's a little crunchy. And then we pour our syrup, which has already cooled, all over our baklava. It has to stay there for 2 hours to 3 hours until it absorbs all the syrup, and then it is ready to be served. It looks yummy and it's really crunchy. I hope you've enjoyed my recipe. Perhaps give it a try if you'd like. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to get notified for new uploads. Give it a thumbs up or share it with your friends, and I hope to see you in another video. Until next time, happy baking και καλή σας όρεξη. Bye bye everyone!